Hello, sports fans and baseball fans out there. I got a game for you today in Baseball Max, one that some of you have been waiting for in some form or another. And we are going to do it in Baseball Max format right now because I don't have the Strat-O-Matic cards for this year yet. Obviously, nobody does. And I don't have the 1962 set in APA. So I can't play this game in either of those formats, but I can do it in Baseball Max. And what we are going to do today is play the 2024 White Sox against the 1962 New York Mets. Now, this may be a little bit of a mismatch here because even though the White Sox had more losses and were arguably nearly as bad as the Mets, the starting pitcher today for the White Sox will be Crochet. However, in the interest of uh, uh, being fair play, I will only pitch Crochet 6 or 7 innings, regardless of how he pitches. So even if he has a shutout going, I will take him out after like 6 because the regular White Sox management did take him out, usually after 6 innings and occasionally after 7, but they never pitched him longer than 7 innings that I remember. And his inning of weakness is like 4, I think, as we'll see. So I will take him out after 6, and so the Mets theoretically would have a chance to come back if they're losing at that time. But on the flip side of things, I think the New York Mets lineup was better than the White Sox lineup. So with all that said, we'll get on with the game. I'm going to go with the default lineups. I'm not going to make any changes to the lineups. So you can see we've got Brooks Baldwin leading off. Nicky Lopez batting second, playing second base. Andrew Vaughn will bat third. He'll be the first baseman. Andrew Benintendi will be in the cleanup spot, play left field. Lewis Robert will bat fifth and be the center fielder. Gavin Sheets will bat sixth and be the first baseman. Corey Lee is the catcher, batting seventh. Nick Senzel will be in right field, batting eighth. And Miguel Vargas will be at third base, batting ninth. For the Mets, who will have Jay Hook pitching, they will lead off with Chacon playing shortstop. Joe Christopher bats second and plays right field. Frank Thomas bats third and plays left field. Charlie Neal will bat in the cleanup spot and play second base. Jim Hickman will bat fifth and play center. Felix Mantilla will bat sixth and play third base. Gil Hodges will bat seventh and play first base. Chris Cannizzaro will bat eighth and be the catcher. And Ray Ashburn will be the DH. So we are going with DHs right now, even though the Mets didn't actually play with a DH, but then again, the White Sox did, so you got to do one or the other, and so we're going with the DH. So with all of that having been gotten out of the way, the umpire says, play ball. We are the visiting team. Brooks Baldwin is the first batter. This isn't a particularly good White Sox lineup. He strikes out. Like I said, I think the Mets lineup is probably better. Jay Hook allows a possible single 1-3. We'll see if that comes through for us. It does not. So it's 2 down. And Andrew Vaughn is the batter. Looking for the 2 column here. Don't get it, but we got a single 1-16 chance, which is pretty good. And it doesn't come through, so he's out. So we are going to the bottom of the first inning. Elio Chacon will lead off, and he's going to strike out. The Mets batters don't want to get in that 6 column, because that's just bad news. And really, they don't even want to get in the 5th column. And really, the 4th column doesn't look that great either. Again, that's going to be the equalizer here, is we have a crappy lineup, but we have a great pitcher pitching. And he struck out 2 of the 3 guys he faced. Maybe all 3, as a matter of fact. So we're going to the top of the second, 0-0 game. Andrew Benintendi is the batter for the White Sox. And he's going to ground out to first base. Luis Robert is the batter. He's going to strike out. And that brings up Gavin Sheets, my man Gavin Sheets. And he's going to get a 4-9, which is a possible home run. 1-15. And it does come through. So Gavin Sheets goes deep for the White Sox and puts them on top 1-0. And the batter is Corey Lee. And he is going to strike out. So we do get on the board. We get 1 run on a Gavin Sheets home run. Bottom of the second, you got Charlie Neal leading off. And he just misses getting on board with a walk, but he gets a ground out to second. So that's 1 out. Jim Hickman is the batter. And he's going to fly out. And that brings up Felix Mantilla. Has a decent on-base card here. But it doesn't work out for him. He gets a ground ball to first base. So the Mets go quickly in the second. Crochet eliminates the lineup for the Mets in the second. And we go to the top of the third with Nick Senzel as the batter. And he is going to strike out. J Hook with the K. J Hook gives him the hook. And Miguel Vargas is the batter. And he is going to ground out to first base. And that brings us back to the top of the lineup in Brooks Baldwin, who gets a possible single, 1-13 chance here. And he does get it. And that will bring up Nicky Lopez, the second baseman. And he is going to ground out to first. So the Mets allow no runs to us in the third. We go to the bottom of the third inning. And Gil Hodges is the batter. Hodges with a little power here. Flashing some power. Doesn't matter, though. He strikes out. And Chris Cannizzaro is the batter. And he is going to ground out third base X. But it's a single. It gets by Miguel Vargas for a base hit with Richie Ashburn up to the plate. But he's going to ground out to the pitcher, and it's a force play. And Elio Chacon is the batter. He's going to get a fly out to center, but it's a single because the center fielder can't make the play. And so the Mets have runners at the corners with 2 down. They are threatening with Joe Christopher up. And he is going to strike out. So Crochet does stop the run from coming home. We go to the top of the fourth with Andrew Vaughn up. He gets a 1-7, and that's a strikeout. Andrew Benintendi is the batter, and he's going to ground out to second, but there's an error by the second baseman, so he doesn't ground out. He is, in fact, up at second on a 2-base error by the second baseman, which brings to the plate Luis Robert. And he is going to strike out. Not as good against righties as he is against lefties. And Gavin Sheets is the batter, the guy who went deep last time. And this time he's going to get a fly out. So I thought that should have been a ballpark single, but Turns out it's just an out, according to the computer. So we are going to the bottom of the fourth. And that is a possible ballpark single, but it's an out. So Frank Thomas is out. That brings up Charlie Neal. And that's a possible home run for them. This could tie the game. And it does. Charlie Neal goes deep and ties the game with a home run of his own, bringing up Jim Hickman. And that's going to be a 5-6. And Felix Mantilla is the batter. Nobody on and 2 out for the Mets. That's a strikeout. So we're going to the top of the fifth in a 1-1 game between these two bad teams. Corey Lee, the batter. And that's going to be a ground ball to first base X. And Jay Hook is injured on the play. That wasn't out, but they're going to bring in Willard Hunter for the injured Jay Hook. And that is a possible, big possible home run by, I believe, Nick Senzel, and it is. And so the White Sox take a 2-1 lead on the solo home run by Senzel with Miguel Vargas up. That's going to be a ground. No, it will not be a ground out to short. It's going to be a single and an error. So there's a runner at second with Brooks Baldwin up. The Mets just fallen apart here completely. They walk Brooks Baldwin, which is not really suggested. And Nicky Lopez is the batter with 2 runners on and only 1 out. He's going to ground out B, though. That's a force play. Puts runners at the corners with 2 down. And Andrew Vaughn, the batter. And that's going to be a strikeout. So we did get a run. We take a 2-1 lead. We're in the bottom of the fifth. Gil Hodge is up. That's a possible ballpark homer. And Hodges ties the game. It's 2-2. You know what? Maybe I won't take Crochet out because actually the Mets are hanging. They're hanging with us, even against Crochet. So Chris Canizaro, although maybe I will take him out because he's allowing the Mets to get the 2 runs that they got. Canizaro's out. That's the first out of the inning. And Richie Ashburn with a lot of on-base chances on his own card, but nothing against Crochet there. Strikeout. And Elio Chacon. He's going to walk. So Chacon is aboard with 2 down. And Joe Christopher up. He's going to try to steal, but he doesn't get a good lead, so he can't, or he won't. And that's going to be a strikeout. So we're going to the top of the sixth in a 2-2 game between these two teams. Andrew Benintendi batting against Willard Hunter, who came on for the injured Jay Hook. And that's going to be a double. He hit the ball to left field, and the left fielder could not make the play. So we got a runner at second with Lewis Robert up. And, of course, Lewis Robert now against a lefty has a better on-base chance. But it's still a strikeout. 1 out, and Gavin Sheets the batter. Now, Gavin Sheets isn't quite as good against lefties. He pops out to short, and Corey Lee is up. And he is going to get a single. Let's see if the runner can score. Yeah, he may try to score. See what my chances are. 65%. I'm going to send him anyway. I don't like the odds of 65%. But we're going to send him anyhow. And let's see. I'm going to send the trailing runner too. I'm going all out on this. Let's see if they try for the lead runner. Throw cutoff, runner scores. And the cutoff rule, he's safe. The trailing runner was safe too. So going all out there really paid off for us, as we get a run with Nick Senzel as the batter. So it's 3-2 White Sox. They intentionally walk Senzel to get to Miguel Vargas, which is actually a pretty good strategy. And he is going to pop out to first base for the third out, but we took the lead. Bottom of the sixth, we're definitely going to let Crochet get through the sixth, or try to get through the sixth. He strikes out the first batter. It's Frank Thomas. Frank Thomas, of course, with good power. Charlie Neal, the batter. And he is going to walk. So Charlie Neal's aboard. Jim Hickman is up with one man on and one man out. And they are trying to steal. He's attempting to steal. I'm going to throw for the runner. 70% chance, I think, of him scoring or getting to second. And he's out. We threw him out. Corey Lee with the cannon. So they now have 2 outs with nobody on and Jim Hickman up. And he's hit by pitch plus injury. Doesn't look like he was injured, though. So Felix Mantilla is the batter with a man on and 2 down. Runner edges away from the base, unable to get a good lead. The computer tries to steal or get a lead to steal, it seems to me, way more often than he should. So Mantilla up, and that's going to be a pop out to short. Pop out! So the Mets get nothing there. We go to the top of the 7th. I am going to let... oh, wait a minute. Oh, wait. Yeah, we're up. Yeah, all right. So I was going to say I would let Crochet pitch, and I probably will let him pitch the 7th. Got a ground out to third for Baldwin. Nicky Lopez up. He gets a 5-3, which is a fly to right. And there's 2 down with Andrew Vaughn up. And he's going to single. Willard Hunter. Been pretty good. Andrew Benintendi is the batter. And he's going to ground out. So we got no runs. I am going to let Crochet pitch the 7th, and then I will take him out. But they get a single. Gil Hodges, the first batter he faces, gets aboard with nobody out. Chris Cannizzaro is the batter now. That is going to be a strikeout, so he's out, 1 down with a man aboard. And Richie Ashburn with all the on-base chances. And that's going to be a single plus an error by the right fielder. So sticking with Crochet wasn't a guarantee of anything, it turns out. That is going to be a ground ball A. Runners will hold, and there's 2 down with Joe Christopher, the batter. And they're rolling the bones, and it's going to be a ground ball. We're going to the top of the 8th, leading 3-2. The White Sox are leading 3-2 here with Lewis Robert batting. That's a ground ball to first base, and it's an out. Gavin Sheets, who has a home run this game, is up. And he's going to get a possible single, although not really a great chance. He grounds out. And that brings up Corey Lee. And Corey Lee is going to be out. So we're going to the top of the 8th. I will make a change right here. We will take Crochet out. And we're going to put in let's see. We will put in Schuster. So Jared Schuster's going to replace Crochet. He allows some on-base chances. And he allows a possible ballpark homer right here, which should be a good chance for the Mets. 1-17, and it is good. So Schuster is greeted by the tying home run by Frank Thomas, who has very good power. This is a fly to center, and it turns out to be a fly out. So there's one down. Jim Hickman up. Jim Hickman getting a pop out to third base. So maybe Schuster settling down here a little bit. And that will be a ground ball. So after 8 complete, it's tied 3-3. The hits are 7-7. The errors are 1-2. It's a pretty even game here. Nick Senzel batting against Willard Hunter, who is still going out there. But he gives up a possible single here. It could be it's a single 1-8 chance, but it's a ground out. And so we are moving on in the lineup to Miguel Vargas. And he is going to pop out to second base, which brings up Brooks Baldwin. He gets a possible single, 1-8 chance. And he does get the single. So the White Sox have a man aboard here in the ninth with 2 down in a tie game at 3. And Nicky Lopez up. And he just misses getting on. He gets a ground ball to the pitcher. We are in the bottom of the ninth. I'm going to keep Schuster out there for right now. Gil Hodges, though, gets a possible ballpark single. It's only a single 1-3 chance, though. And he doesn't. Moving on in the lineup, we go to Chris Cannizzaro. And that's going to be a fly ball B. So Schuster, yeah, he settled down after that initial batter hit a home run off of him, Frank Thomas. Here's a single, though, for Richie Ashburn. Ashburn aboard with 2 down. And Elio Chacon up. Schuster walks him. So there's 2 on for the Mets with 2 down here in the bottom of the ninth. Joe Christopher, the batter. And he loads the bases, Jared Schuster does. Sorry, excuse me. Battling, the health problems I cough a lot. I am going to take him out, and we're going to put in, oh, you know what? I don't have dude available to me because this is the final rosters. So we're going to bring in Varland. So there are 2 down for the Mets. Bases are loaded in the ninth. A run wins the game for the Mets. Frank Thomas is the batter. And that's going to be a single 1-3 chance. If it comes through for the Mets, they win. And it does. So the Mets win this game. We will go to the box score and take a look. Just a second, let the box score load up completely. So there are the batters. You can take a look. The Mets win this game 4-3 in the bottom of the ninth. They had 2 runs, 1 in the 8th and 1 in the 9th to eventually take the lead. We'll look at the pitching. Jay Hook went 4 1/3. He allowed 2 hits and 1 earned run, striking out 6. Crochet went 7. He allowed 6 hits, 2 earned runs, and struck out 11. The loss going to Schuster with the blown save, and the win going to Willard Hunter of the Mets. So again, the Mets win this one. The 1962 Mets defeat last year's White Sox 4-3. And that will be it for me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke, signing off.